Hey, welcome. I want to welcome our podcast community for a special podcast. We have two guys that are very talented in this area. And if I described them, I wouldn't say enough about these two. I know them separately. Then once Jim said that he knew Larry, I went, holy crap. Holy smokes, we got to have him on. So I want first, Jim, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then Larry, you'll be right after.
Thank you, Pete, and welcome, Larry. Jim Raps Ridley with two Ds, commercial cleaning. We clean the commercial space. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter the size. One of the things I said in my B&I meeting this morning is we have a small insurance office in Marietta. We've been cleaning for years. That's one-man office. It might be 1,000 square feet. And then we have a 400,000 square feet or so facility with close to 400 employees. So we can do all sizes. The only stipulation for me is that it's commercial and that it's a legal operation. I don't want to be put in some kind of, and there's a few other unscrupulous types of businesses we don't want any part of, but for the most part, it's commercial cleaning. That's what we do.
And I think Larry would agree with you before he gives his introduction. I think he feels the same way. So Larry,
Yeah.
who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
So I am Larry Grawey. My wife and I own a local dream vacations franchise. So we help people take amazing vacations. That is the primary thing. And so I got to know Jim a little bit. Actually heard him talk about that this morning at the B&I meeting. But we just love to help people take vacations and get out and make memories.
That's so important. We just had a person on and we were talking about making memories, that she's a declutter organizer. And, we can't take our stuff with us, but we have our memories wherever we go. So capturing those memories. And I know we talked about it, like a lot of people will give gifts at Christmas time. And then there's some people will go on memorable vacations. And you'll never forget those vacations, but toys, they break, stuff breaks, but memories are here forever. So we wanted to do this podcast because both of you have a unique background with dreams and vacations, and Jim I call him the commercial connector because he's been networking and has built his business on building relationships. So Jim, with you first, how important has the intentional nature of building relationships been to the growth of your business?
I think it's crucial. It's something that if you want to build a business in 2024, in 21st century, you need to know people. You need to meet people. I'm not going to completely say cold calling is dead, but man, it's on life support. You don't really want to be knocking on doors, something that I did a lot of when I was younger. I had a gentleman in my office yesterday who's starting out in a different field and he just needed some help. We were talking about things he can do, and I talked a lot about networking opportunities and both open and closed networking. And he'll be visiting B&I soon. But to be able to place yourself in a position where, for the most part, to where people are coming to you, or somebody knows somebody else that needs a good commercial cleaning company, or they're just frustrated with the one they have, or they just want to compare things. When they come to you to ask for your service or your expertise, your consulting, because I do that a lot too. And sometimes you don't get the business, but you're helping people. And I like to do that. I think that that's an awesome thing. I can't remember the last time I actually went and literally knocked on somebody's door or just kind of ask people, hey, who's cleaning your business? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a total game changer when people are coming to you, whether it's through a referral, through networking, or they're looking for a service and they find us online, which we've worked for years, Pete, because you helped us get started with that 7+ years ago with this company to get us an online presence. It means everything.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Jim. So Larry, with you, you're a relationship builder just by nature. Not nature. I didn't come out of the womb that way, but you grew up into being that. What does it mean to you when somebody says relationships and business?
I think relationships everything. Even as Jim was talking, I was thinking about this. In the travel world, anybody can go online, click a button, and find places to go, book cruises, resorts, find travel. It's easy to do that. But I found, or even to find us, people that come to us through the internet, they're shopping. But the people that I know through relationship, and 95% of our business is done through relationship.
Hmm?
They come to us. They don't shop other places. They come to us and build that relationship. The people that are finding us on the website will find somebody else the next time, or search around and look and click and say, hey, I've got this or this. When you have that relationship, you're building something that is more than just a one-time transaction. You're building something that's going to be mutually beneficial for both of you long term. And I hope I'm saying that well as it sounded in my head, but really you're building long-term relationships. And I think that is the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this year is going to be kind of a year of chaos. There's a lot of things going on. And when you look at the business climate, if you have quality relationships, it doesn't matter. But I was in the digital business. Jim knew me when I was that's what gave me a stroke, because every single time you figured it out, Google would change the algorithm. And it's like, now you're starting over, because you never knew how you could have a solid strategy because they were always changing things. But your relationships are consistent. And like you said, Larry, they're long term. You don't change the algorithms on your relationships. They are who they are. You invest in them as a business owner, you're going to benefit. So, Jim, what would you say? Like, I want you to talk to my 25-year-old just starting out, and you're advising somebody on how to grow their business. How does that person? What does that person do to start building their business? They have a limited budget. They want to get out there. They want to get known. What can you share with our viewers to help that person?
There's no one answer to that, and networking is important, whether it's open or closed networking. And I said that before, and to anybody who's watching that doesn't know the difference, they're both good and they're both necessary.
Explain to, I want our viewers to understand. Some people don't. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So going to a chamber meeting, going to whatever town you live in, let's say Marietta, the Marietta Business Association or the Kennesaw Business Association, you don't necessarily have to join them. And even if you do, it's not much money at all. All right. I recommend doing that and going, because you're going to meet people. The difference is that's open networking, which means for me, I'm a commercial contract cleaner. There could be another 1 or 2 or 10 in that group that are there, or there could be several realtors or several lawyers that do the same thing. When you go into closed networking, which is the one I like is BNI, which stands for Business Networking International. I've been a member for over 10 years. That's closed networking, which means in the chapter that I'm in, only one of me can be there. So we've got a carpet cleaner in there, and we've got a maid service, residential cleaning in there, but only one commercial janitorial service, commercial cleaner can be there. Larry is joining the group now, so only one travel agent can be in that group. So that protects your seat. And that I like better than the open networking, but they're both good. Open and closed are good. So you got to get out there. You got to get out there and meet the people. On that note, you should work with a good digital marketing person or company to get yourself an online presence. So I'll go back to 2014. Okay. I was still in the cleaning business, but not with Ridley. I met a gentleman who asked me if I was on LinkedIn, and I said, no, what's LinkedIn? And he kind of laughed and he goes, you got to get on LinkedIn. This was the beginning of me realizing that when you meet somebody in business or you go out and do an estimate or whatever, somebody's considering working with you, they're almost always going to pull this out and look for you, or they're going to do it on their computer at their office or their home. And if they can't find you, that's the worst. And if they find you and you don't have nice Google reviews and you don't have a presence, you may not get that opportunity. They're going to go looking for somebody else. So having that online presence and networking is crucial to building any business these days that I can think of.
Yeah, I agree. So Larry, you hosted at the Kennesaw Business Association a thing called Wake Up KBA at Desktop, and you were the person that was hosting it. Why did you do something like that? Share with our viewers what that meant to the value of your business.
So Wake Up KBA being a unique thing for the Kennesaw Business Association, you've got a few hundred businesses that are there, and we chose to host it because it puts our name in front of that entire business association for basically a month and a half as they're advertising for it throughout the month of the event. And they give it to us basically for the cost of breakfast, which is great. But I actually facilitate the Wake Up for our business association. And the reason I do that is because I believe in building those face-to-face relationships and encouraging people to do one-on-one relationships. And that's where I see the value is. Going to lunches and being present is good. You have to do that. You have to be there. But in that much smaller group where you have more interaction and time to speak with people and get to know their story, and you get to hear everybody else's elevator pitch or their 30 seconds or 60 seconds to find out about you're building connections. And I think that is important. And I'm going to add to this, Pito, be a little bit beyond your question, but I believe in what I call the ministry of presence, just being there, showing up at things, being involved in as much as you have time to. Now, we can't just show up at everything and not do our jobs, the stuff that has to be done, the stuff that we're selling or talking about. But being out in the community, being there and being present goes a long way. People know who you are. When they think about, hey, I know somebody that needs to travel. Oh, I know Larry. I know Jennifer. I can do that. If I know somebody needs commercial cleaning, well, man, I got a good friend, Jim. I'm going to call him and do that. If I never see Jim, he's not at the forefront of my mind. So that's kind of why I think that's valuable.
What would you say, and I'll go to you first, and then we'll go to Jim. What would you say, like, your involvement in KBA, Kennesaw Business Association, you're serving in a capacity. What's the value of service within an organization like KBA?
I think the more you get involved in something, it opens up more doors. It keeps you in front of people. It puts you in different relationships. It gets you more time with other people. And I think that's really it. It puts you out there in front of people. And then when that organization says, hey, we've got this event going on, call Larry, that puts me out in front of another group of people and people that are searching. So it's really just putting yourself in front of as many people as possible. That's why I think it's important to pick a handful of things to be involved in networking rather than to try and show up at everything. if I went to every networking opportunity there was around, I would never have time to sell travel. I would
Right.
never have time to service my clients or to even be there for my family because I'd constantly be somewhere else. So as much as I say be there and be present, I think you have to go all in on a couple things that fit your schedule, fit your dynamic, the atmosphere, and I think you go a long way that way.
No, I love that. I was just sharing that very concept you shared with my previous guest because she's been in business 6 months. And so she was asking, different things about the landscape of networking. So, Jim, the same question, like you've always served within BNI. What have you felt? What can our viewers gain from your leadership or your intention of serving? What has it meant to you personally, and how has it helped your business in that capacity?
Okay, so I completely agree with Larry. You have to really be intentional on how much networking you're going to do and how many things you're going to try to do, or you just can't handle it all. And as I get older, those are changing a little bit. Like there are networking things that happen like later in the day or in the evening. I don't want any part of it. I don't enjoy those at all. I'm a morning person. It doesn't bother me to be at BNI at 6:30 in the morning to start a 7 o'clock meeting because I'm up anyway.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. I like to get things done during the daytime. As far as serving, Larry would know a lot about that because, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a pastor as
Mm-hmm.
well. All right. So you know all about service and serving, but that is the BNI slogan, motto, whatever you want to call it, is givers gain, which I always thought was pretty cool. And I think it's biblically based. When you look, human nature is what's in it for me. So how many times have you been on the road? And in Kennesaw today, there were a lot of traffic lights out around Wade Green and Giles Road. And, when you're driving and you stop and you wave somebody in, aren't we always instinctively looking for that wave? Like, thank you. Why? Do things because it's the right thing to do, right? And not look to get something in return. And the cool thing is, and I'll get back to BNI with this, is it is giver's gain. The people who fail at BNI are the ones that don't follow the rules. And they're really simple rules, by the way, basic stuff. And they're the ones who come in and they try to sell to the other people in the room and they're trying to take. But when you come in with the giver's gain mentality and you just see what you can do to give other people referrals, to use some of them yourself, which is a referral as well. And also I recommend to people, to new members all the time, get involved in the chapter and volunteer. So I've held all the leadership positions except the front table. I don't want to be the president or the vice president. I don't want to do those things. But whether you're a mentor, whether you're on the membership committee, the visitor host, whatever it is, education coordinator, I've done all of those. And you know what? You end up getting more out of that than you would think, and that it just comes back to you. It's rewarding in a way. So if you just give with a glad heart to people, it does come back to you, and it comes back in crazy ways that you'll never expect.
I agree. But I'm going to ask Larry this, and then Jim, you'll be ready right after this so you can think of your answer. So, personal development, let's just say books and whatever you do, what would you recommend for a new business owner? What have you done in your life that has helped you get a little bit better each day? Is there anything that you would share with our viewers, Larry?
Man, that is a loaded question because there's a lot. Um, I think the biggest things you mentioned books, and books are important. I have one that came to mind. I'll tell you in just a second. But I think a bigger benefit to me, and this goes back to relationships, is when I get around somebody that I think I can learn from, I go out of my way to spend time with them. I
Mhm.
remember, you mentioned I'm a pastor. We started our church and I wanted to get to know our community. I found somebody in the community that was highly involved, owned a lot of the Kennesaw community, and made it a point to meet with him once a month for an hour every month to learn our community. I have mentors in our business. In some ways, Jim has become a new mentor for me. I have others that have mentored me in business and getting involved. Now, from the book side, I like podcasts. There are some great leadership podcasts, and really I like the ones that deal with our minds, because I think if we get our minds straight, we lead better. But one of the best books I ever read when I was really overwhelmed with something new was called Fish Out of Water. And I believe, man, I'm trying to remember who wrote it. If it was Barna or somebody else, I don't remember where it was. Fish Out of Water.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the best books because it talked about feeling like you're overwhelmed and out of place and how to lead through those circumstances. And when we start something new and we're getting involved in something new, most of us feel like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
So it was a great book for me.
No, that's really good. So Jim, what do you do? And I love that you guys brought up mentoring or mentor. What do you do like to grow? I mean, in business, growth is important. How do you see that role in your life?
I mean, if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Yeah.
So
what are you doing to grow besides get older?
And as we get older, we think of our mortality a little bit more than we did when we were young, because you know, when you're young, you're bulletproof. You're like, oh, I can do anything, right? But let's go with the book thing, because I like that topic. So I've read them all. I think loved a lot of them. I think one of my favorites is Napoleon Hill. I think Stephen Covey's books have been great. From more of a spiritual side, I loved Norman Vincent Peale. I thought that he was one of the people that I would have loved to meet. Mm-hmm. All right. Will never happen now because he passed away. But I think my all-time favorite was Zig Ziglar. I just loved Zig. I loved the way Zig wrote. I loved the way Zig talked. I used to have you're going way back, guys. I used to have his cassette tapes that I'd play as I'm driving down the street.
Yeah. And we're all in that category, Jim.
Yeah, man. So, and the one thing, I did a lot of things, but one of the things that sticks with me all the time, he was talking about the law of averages. And in his southern drawl and his way that he spoke, I can't do it. I wouldn't even try because I'll sound like an idiot. But he would go, I don't like the law of averages. He goes, if you put 1 foot in a bucket of ice water and 1 foot in a bucket of boiling water, on average, you will not be comfortable. And I just always thought that was so funny. And he had a way of delivering things, you know. But I think that reading is essential. It's part of growth. I read a lot for pleasure too. My wife and I have been going through all the Mitch Albom books. If you haven't read Mitch Albom, man, oh man, they're short books, but they're really good.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So the theme has been networking matters, and what would you say to the word intentional? What does it mean to you, Larry, if you say I want to be intentionally networking? What would you say to that, and how could our viewers gain from your insights?
I think intentional, I'm going to put it in this way, as consistency. From a networking standpoint, when you get involved in a networking group, whether it's a BNI, which is a closed group and there's some very defined rules, or it's an open networking group, putting that on your calendar and then having some goals when you get there. Hey, I'm going to get to know 1 or 2 people today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to set up a meeting with somebody today, you know, and go in with a plan so that when you walk out the door, you've accomplished something other than just show up and just tell people who you are, but go in and be intentional about building a relationship or setting up a one-on-one or whatever that may be, but have those goals when you go in. And like I said, put it on the calendar every week, be consistent and be there.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Jim, how about the word intentional with networking? What would you have to share with our viewers?
I really don't know if I could put it any better than Larry just put it. I think it's, putting it on your calendar, getting it done. You know, the old saying, just do it. We have ways of saying, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do this next week, or whatever. And tomorrow doesn't always come, and next week doesn't always come, but just getting it done, and it's satisfying when you do get those things done. Intentional is, and Larry knows this now, getting up early enough, living in Kennesaw on a Thursday morning, to drive over to Smyrna and be there for the meeting that starts at 7 o'clock. That's intentional. That's really what it's about. Just, I'm a big believer in doing what you say you're going to do. Not being late, being on time, or being early. Those kinds of things, I think, helps to, just kind of keep you centered, and helps you be successful in your business as well.
No, I love that. So I want to first, Jim, tell our viewers, and then we'll go to Larry. Well, we're going to go to Larry first because I didn't put his phone number in here. What would be the best way to contact you? I mean, I'm thinking out here, like, I want to go on a dream vacation, and I don't know where I want to go, and I want to get a hold of this guy named Larry. So how would I get a hold of Larry?
So I think probably the easiest way, and I can give my phone number, but the easiest way would be our website, thetravelhelpers.com.
Okay.
Thetravelhelpers.com.
Okay.
And that would get you there, get you our phone number, which is 678-881-9228. That's our phone number. But the website would be the easiest way.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put the website on there, and then I'm going to go to Jim. I already have his down. So, okay. Larry, number again,
678-881-9228.
Okay, viewers, thanks for working with me here as I'm a one-man operation on this. Okay, there we go. Almost got it. And Jim, I'll be with you in just a second. And our viewers, just wait just a second. You're going to see it on the screen. Okay, did I get it right? Travelhelpers.com. Helpers.
Yep, there should be an S there.
Yes.
The Travel Helpers.
The Travel Helpers. Yeah,
Yes,
that makes a difference, because if you're putting a domain in, you better be able to put the right address on the internet, because it doesn't work unless you have the right. I know that from my digital marketing days. Thetravelhelpers.com. Dang, yeah. Look at this. This is going good. Jim's just waiting on. Okay, now
I got nothing to do, Pete.
Okay, thetravelhelpers.com. So you're looking for that dream vacation. You want to take your family on it. Okay, you're not going to be able to get anybody better than Larry and Jennifer, his wife, to help you through the navigation of putting that dream vacation together. So, Jim, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, gee, look at that. Yeah, that's my cell phone, call, text, whatever. My email, our website is Ridley, RIDDLEYLLC.com. You can contact us through that as well. Pretty easy to get a hold of. The only reason I don't answer my phone is if I'm in a meeting or doing something like this, or but somebody will call you back usually within the hour, and we try to answer the phone. I could give you the business line, but it doesn't matter. This is better because the business line will forward to my phone, my cell phone, but that's my cell phone. So I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, and just call us anytime. Text me if you want.
And I will vouch for that. Jim will answer his phone if he's not in a meeting, and he'll call you back the old-fashioned way. It's kind of like, remember when doctors did house calls 50 years ago?
I do.
It's almost like that. Jim will answer his phone, he'll call you back. And I know Larry's the same way.
It's driving me crazy right now that this thing's been buzzing since we started, and I don't even want to look at it until we're done.
Well, we appreciate you focusing on our viewers, and you can get back to them. So, Larry, you first. What would be the one thing that you'd want one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our podcast today?
From a networking standpoint,
Mhm.
I like to be intentional. Be intentional, get involved in and pick the 1, 2, or 3 based on your time, or 4 that you can really dig into and get involved.
Awesome. I like that. Jim, he's put pressure on you.
No, it's easy. It's an
What
easy
would be
question
for you?
Well, yeah, it's easy. So I'm going to stick with the giver's gain. I think that Larry's an awesome guy. And if anybody's going to think about going on a vacation, it just doesn't make any sense to try to do it yourself. What I think, and Larry, if I'm wrong on this, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of like using an insurance agent or health and whatever. They get paid in other ways. In other words, using a travel agent doesn't cost you more money, right? They make their money through the places that they book the travel. So doing it online just doesn't make any sense unless it's something really simple and you've done it 100 times and you know you're going to buy a ticket to LaGuardia and you're going into New York City and you're coming back, whatever. Other than that, especially when you're talking about foreign destinations, let somebody that knows what they're doing do it.
Yes.
Because I think some people look at travel agents and go, "Oh, I don't need that. I'll do it myself. It's going to cost me more money." No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool and that's the way it's set up. So that's what I'm saying. That's my takeaway for the meeting. For this
Awesome.
meeting.
Dang, I tell you, you guys did a really good job. And I'm going to put a commercial up here. This is for our seniors and our adult children. We're going to have Ken Kington, Melissa, and Larry at an event on May 22nd. So put this on your calendar because this guy, if you go to he has a QR code right there in the middle. That's a show he did up in Salt Lake City. And it's absolutely the most gut-wrenching laughing. You'll laugh so hard, you'll hurt. And he's 46 minutes in this particular show. But come on out, bring your bride. I mean, your bride meaning your mom and dad. Come on out, have some fun, fellowship, meet some of our vendors because it's so important to know the resources that are out there for your aging parents. Things change out there, and you want to know which people that you can trust to call to help your mom and dad. So that is Wednesday, May the 22nd from 6 to 7:30. And we will have some hors d'oeuvres out there for you too. So when we take a break at 6:30, you're going to be able to eat a little bit. And then Ken's going to come on at 7 and you're going to be able to laugh your head off. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And if you're not, so to get tickets, oops, that's not the right one. To get tickets, go to podcasterpetecane.com. It's a link tree, so that it'll be at the top of the link tree to get tickets. They're $15 a piece, and you can buy blocks of 10 at $10 a piece. So if you're a senior facility and you want to buy some tickets for your residents and you want to give them out as promotion, you'll be able to do that. So come on out and laugh with your mom and dad. Bring them on a date if they're local and have some fun at Grace Church. It's not Larry's church, but there's some good churches out there besides Larry's.
David, the pastor, is a good friend of mine.
So oh, really? You know David Black?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah, he is awesome. So I want to thank our viewers for being on the podcast, and for those that. Oops, let me try and see if I can do this here. Okay. Nope. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here. Sorry, guys. Okay. So anyway, if your viewers, if you're looking to go on that dream vacation, get back in touch with Larry or share this with somebody that you know that, just like Jim said, you think that if you go ahead and do your own research, it's going to save you money. That's not how the travel business works. Larry is there and his wife, Jennifer, to give your experience the best one possible. And the cruise lines and the people pay them. So you're not paying extra You're just paying somebody that knows their business and wants to make sure you have a great experience. And if your business is dirty, like I know a business I used to be involved with, that I got Jim to come in there. He's been doing it for several years now. Call Jim. I mean, he's going to pick up the phone. Good gosh, it's hard to believe anybody will pick up the phone these days. But Jim will pick up the phone and he'll come over there and he'll look at your facility. So thank you so much. And we appreciate you guys taking the time to be on the podcast.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Y'all have an awesome
Take care.
day. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.